What's going on, man? Welcome back to the basement. I'm Ron, and today we got 15 players you must add for week 4 of the fantasy football season off of your waiver wire. Now, 15 sounds like a lot, but these guys are all over 50% owned, or under 50% owned on ESPN, and I figured I'd cast a wide net. You can kind of see who's available in your league, and we'll talk about the priority ads up top, so guys you should be unloading the clip on, and then some other guys you can kind of sneak in after waivers roll through. So as always, if you enjoy, make sure down below, subscribe, leave a like. Let's go. Now, I'm going to be straight up with you guys. All right, we're using the MacBook Pro microphone here. I am deeply sorry. The audio quality is not going to be what it usually is. I have my mic to the side here, but one of the cords broke. I don't have a replacement. I don't have an adapter piece. I'm waiting for them to come on Amazon, but waiver wire videos are a little time sensitive. We don't have time to wait until later on for the cords to come in because I need to give you guys this info ASAP. So that's what we're doing here. Again, sorry in advance for the audio here, but first up, we have Devon Achane. Now, for this video, again, all these guys are under 50% owned on ESPN. First up, we'll talk through my priority ads. So all of these guys that I talk through here until I say otherwise are guys that I would spend 15% or more of my fab budget on. Now, if you are out there and you're like, Ron, but I want to know exactly how much you're bidding, I don't even know that yet. This video is just me sort of rounding up a bunch of names I like, doing some research, and then I come out today and drop a waiver wire article on the Patreon, patreon.com/Ron Stewart. You can find it in the description, in the comment section down below. On there, every single week I outline my top 15 running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, quarterbacks, and I talk through exactly down to the dollar how much I'm bidding on each of those players. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure you check it out. If not, enjoy this video. But Devon Achane here is coming off a monstrous 50-point week. He had 51.3 PPR points. He had 203 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns. He looked super explosive. And the exciting part is I think there's still meat on the bone. This is his split with Raheem Mostert. 42% of the snaps to Raheem Mostert, 51%. I imagine that'll be more even split moving forward. He had more rush attempts than Raheem Mostert, but Raheem Mostert ran a route on 64% of passing plays and had a 25% target share. Now, Raheem Mostert has never had a single season in the NFL over 31 catches. So he's not naturally a good receiving back. 7 over a 5-game sample would be more than his career high. So think about it that way. This was a game that they weren't even behind in. So he was just getting passes a ton. Now, of course, that's probably the other side of Waddle not playing, but Devon Achane here, if you look at his college profile, he had a 93rd percentile college target share. He caught passes. He's undersized at 5'9", 188 pounds, but he makes up for that with the pass catching, with the speed at 4.32. We saw the explosive ability. Now, I love this. There's a narrative going on. I've seen it in my comment section. I think it's something, probably somewhere from Reddit, but there's something out there that's like, oh, anybody at Devon Achane's size has never had over 100 touches in the NFL. Whereas anybody in that sample had a 200-yard rushing game in their first 3 games? Probably not. So when you start taking these arbitrary filters and you start constricting them in on players to sort of prove your point, it's one of the dumbest exercises out there where it's like, well, you can't spend a lot of fab on Devon Achane because guys that look like him don't have a bunch of touches in the NFL. Well, guess what? There's maybe 4 or 5 dudes that look like Devon Achane. And this bucket of Dree Archers or whatever aren't applicable after Devon Achane has already broke out and looked good. So if you're out there and you need a running back really bad, unload the clip on Devon Achane. This is a young, ascending running back, lots of juice, in a really condensed backfield, a really small backfield, on an offense that is going to score a ton of points. They have the most passing yards, the most rushing yards, and the most points scored in the NFL. They are the only NFL offense with over 100 points scored through 3 weeks, and they scored 70 points in week 3. So this is an offense you want pieces of. Devon Achane is going to be part of this offense, and that size constraint argument goes out the window once he balls out and once he gets drafted by the Dolphins, because Mike McDaniel doesn't care. He doesn't care. He's not like these other coaches where he is old and prehistoric and he's benching players for fumbling and he's not using players because of their size. No, he is scheming players open to their abilities. He's using motion. He's doing these little speed pitches to the inside with these undersized backs. He's using them to the best of his abilities. I trust Mike McDaniel with my entire life. So with that being said, Devon Achane, do not get cute. If you need a running back, unload the clip. on Achane here. I think that's going to be about a 50-50 split moving forward, with Achane having the upside for the receiving work here. Next up, we have Dell. Now, you guys are probably sick of me saying this, but in all of these videos, you're going to see a lot of rookie wide receivers. All of these waiver wire videos, and really what it comes down to is rookie wide receivers are league winners. That's why we do the rookie wide receiver report. If you can kind of track these guys early and see what's going on, you'll have a big leg up on the opposition. Last year, we had a lot of Christian Watson from doing this research. And we can see on this chart here, rookie wide receivers give you points as you go on in the year while veterans fall off. And rookie wide receivers can a lot of times be league winners down the stretch, where you saw Christian Watson last year, Amon-Ra St. Brown the year before that. You had Ayuk, Debo, A.J. Brown were all beasts down the stretch of their rookie seasons. These are guys you just want to be targeting. And Dell has late season cheat code written all over him, and that he's actually startable as of right now, where he is a top 12 point per game wide receiver. And my biggest concern for him was that he would be a like Kiki QT slot guy, like a Hunter Renfrow, where they're just undersized or in the slot, low ADOT, PPR floor type of guys. But he has been almost more Marquise Brown, John Brownish, where he's undersized, but he's getting open downfield. He has a 12.1 yard ADOT. That's amazing. I believe Cooper Kupp is like under 10 yard ADOT, and he can even get home. And then also Dell has a 16.7 yards per reception. So he's like explosive. He's catching passes downfield. This is a profile we really want, and he can already go in your lineup, where he's already a full-time wide receiver. He's played over 80% of the routes, or ran over 80% of the routes in back-to-back weeks at this point. CJ Stroud is supporting two top 24 wide receivers in Dell and Nico Collins. Rest of season, Dell to me is like a wide receiver 3 at worst here, with like wide receiver 1 upside. Now our next player, someone I'm shocked hasn't been picked up everywhere, is Matt Breida. I thought he was one of the clearer pickups last week, but I guess people weren't all that enthused to grab him. And I get why. He got home with a touchdown, though, this week. He had like 10 points, only 7 opportunities, but he did have 80% of the snaps. He had 56% of the routes. Those are both great numbers. And with Saquon Barkley having a high ankle sprain, he likely misses this week, and then maybe one more. We'll see. But if you need a spot start and you are in a really, really tough spot, Matt Breida to me is going to be like a top 30 back at worst. He's going to be at home versus the Seahawks defense is allowing the 10th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. So Matt Breida is a nice guy to grab as a short-term play. And then we have Justice Hill, who was almost addition by subtraction here, where he was hurt on Sunday. But I think this game log almost makes you like Justice Hill more, where you can see they had Gus Edwards and Melvin Gordon running 24 routes this weekend. That is something that you never want to see. Neither of those guys are pass-catching backs. I assume they're still acclimating Kenyon Drake here. But to me, this is a team that doesn't have a clear passing down back besides Justice Hill. So Justice Hill will come back, absorb a lot of those routes, absorb a lot of those targets. Like, it wouldn't shock me at all if he just had the workload that Melvin Gordon and Kenyon Drake had, where he has, 5 targets and 11 carries. I think that is in the range of outcomes for Justice Hill. This offense is lacking pass-catching weapons somehow, with Odell Beckham hurt and Rashad Bateman not looking like himself. So Justice Hill, to me, I think is going to be like a fringe RB3 rest of the way, or fringy RB3 rest of the way. That I think is still a fine guy to pick up off waivers. Then we have our Chargers wide receivers here, Josh Palmer and Quentin Johnston. Sadly, you have Mike Williams go down with a torn ACL, which sucks, but this is one of the few offenses that is high-powered enough where when a wide receiver goes down, it matters, right? There's not really handcuffs in the NFL. If Tank Dell was to go down, Robert Woods wouldn't be a must-add, But it's a little bit different here, where Mike Williams goes down, and because Justin Herbert's so good and this offense is so good, whoever takes these routes over matters. Now, in the short term, it's going to be Josh Palmer. This is a tweet from John Daigle. After Williams went down, you had Josh Palmer run 10 routes. You had Quentin Johnston run 3. So Josh Palmer is the preferred option for now. To me, Josh Palmer is the floor wide receiver 3/flex play right now, where you can play him as a low-end flex in deeper leagues. And then I think this also opens the door wide open for the Quentin Johnston breakout, where, again, we see in this chart towards the back half of the season, Quentin Johnston could be an absolute monster in this offense, and he'll now have a clear runway to get there. Now, he's much more boom-bust, but I can't believe that he's actually on waivers in over 50% of leagues. Anywhere he's on waivers, please, please, please go scoop him. Then we have Jayden Reed here, which is just going to be a slew of rookie wide receivers coming up here. First with Jayden Reed, who, when we look at our, this is just the rookie wide receiver report with Jayden Reed, his pass snap percentage. So how many routes is he running on passing downs? He had a career high, 76% this past weekend. The production wasn't quite there, but he had 7 targets. He's over 2 yards per out run on the year, 24% target per out run. He is really, really solid, where you can already start to put him in your starting lineup if you absolutely need to, because he's on the field for enough of those routes. Then we have in that same exact wide receiver room, Romeo Doubs doesn't have the rookie wide receiver upside, but has the year 2 breakout upside. He led all Packers wide receivers in routes this past weekend. 5 catches, 73 yards, and a touchdown. Wide receiver 24 on the year, but he had 12 targets this past weekend. So he wasn't efficient on those 12 targets, but he's earning volume, he's earning targets, he's running routes. Romeo Doubs is a guy who is a flex play rest of the year with some upside for more than that. And then this is where the rest of the rookie wide receivers come in. You have Josh Downs, who is the Tank Dell archetype that I feared, where he is at 5.2 yard ADOT. He's a slot guy, but he did just come off 12 targets. He's commanding 20% target per out run here. Slot PPR role, but that's going to be valuable in fantasy. Maybe he can carve out a little bit more than that, because he was more of a downfield guy in college. Then we have Rashee Rice, who got a huge bump in snap percentage. Now, that was against the Bears. They were blowing the Bears out, but Rashee Rice, the efficiency and everything still held, where Rashee Rice, in his biggest game so far, had 7 targets, 5 catches, 59 yards. He has a 35.9% target per out run, a 2.77 yards per out run, an 80-plus PFF grade, all elite marks. Then we have Marvin Mims in pretty much the same exact boat here, where these are guys that are more stashes because you can't play them already, right? Like Jayden Reed and Tank Dell can go in your starting lineup if you need them. These guys can't just yet, just because of the usage. Marvin Mims still out there for just 28% of the pass snaps this weekend, but I mean, I've never seen over a 4 yard per out run, never mind a 7.22. He has a 33.3% target per out run. He has a kick return touchdown. He has 7 catches, 195 yards, and a touchdown so far. You're holding on for dear life with Marvin Mims. You're grabbing him. You're stashing him. The snaps will come. Then we just have some rookie running backs here as well, where our 11th player of this list is going to be Kendre Miller. Now, a little bit of a disappointment. We thought with Jamal Williams out, he would be the lead back next to Tony Jones. He was not. Tony Jones was the lead back, but he did see 10 touches. And there's some reason for optimism here, where he has a role that is much stickier than Tony Jones, because when Alvin Kamara comes in, he's taking all those 2-minute drill snaps. He's taking all of those third down snaps. So the only thing that really remains is the early down and short yardage areas, which is where Kendre Miller was actually the preferred back. So Kendre Miller is going to be the guy, the early down grinder, kind of what we've seen from Latavius Murray in years past with Alvin Kamara. And then Alvin Kamara will just be in his normal role. And he's never been a guy that's going to take 20 carries a game. So Kendre Miller should be able to have a little bit of a standalone role here, and some handcuff upside if Kamara was to ever go down. He will be the clear 1B for the next 3 weeks while Jamal Williams is on IR. Then we have Zach Charbonnet in a similar role here. The reason we love Zach Charbonnet coming out, second-round pick that catches passes and is presumably better on the goal line than Kenneth Walker. The jury is still out on that, but he is a good goal line back. And that was on full display here, where he had all 10 of the 2-minute drill snaps. That is absolutely massive. And then he also had 2 goal line snaps and some short yardage and some early down mix-in. 44% of the snaps, he had a career-high 11 opportunities. I love this role. He could carve out a little RB3 role, and then he also becomes one of the most valuable handcuffs, where if Kenneth Walker was ever go down and Zach Charbonnet got the 2-minute drill, the goal line, the early downs, he got everything, he would be an absolute monster. Then we have Roschon Johnson, who is still coming along. I liked him as a sneaky start this week, but it didn't pay off, right? In a negative game script versus the Chiefs, I thought that them coming from behind, they'd have to give a lot of targets to Roschon Johnson. That wasn't exactly the case here. But his snaps and his opportunity has gone up every single week. 39%, 42%, 45%. Then his opportunity share has also gone up every single week. The role is going to continue to grow. This Bears offense, I really do think it's going to improve. There was an impossible spot versus the Chiefs this week where they just, from the get-go, like they were never in that game. But this offense, I think, will improve. It improved last year over the first few weeks. They sort of catered things better to Justin Fields. I think we see that again. And Roschon Johnson's really exciting, where he's a 225-pound back that catches passes, so that has all the upside in the world. Then we have Tyjae Spears here. Now, I will say, I don't think I made it clear. I'll make it clear in the timestamps, but once you get to Josh Downs on this list, these are just ads. So guys that I'm just sneaking off waivers for like $0, maybe a couple dollars, or maybe just getting them for free once waivers roll in. But you have Tyjae Spears here, who outsnapped Derrick Henry again this week. Outsnapped him 25-17. He's now outsnapped him twice and you have Derrick Henry just getting 2 PPR points, which is the lowest of his career with it in a game with 10 rush attempts. So it has just been really tough sledding for Derrick Henry. Tyjae Spears has had 7 or more opportunities in every game so far. He's had 4 or more targets in 2 out of 3 of those games. He's a super valuable handcuff that could carve out a little standalone PPR type role here. And then we have our last ad, Zay Jones. He is hurt, but he did have 16.5 PPR points in week 1. He then goes down. Once he comes back, I mean, last year he was like the wide receiver 28 or something like that. He's going to be a wide receiver 3 rest of season. So if he's dropped on waivers or whatever, definitely take Zay Jones up out of there. And then we have 2 bonus tight ends here. First, we have Luke Musgrave. He is 5th in route participation. He's coming off the best week he's had all year. Jordan Love looks like a guy. And then you also have Jake Ferguson, who is the tight end 5 in expected points per game right now at 11.4. He's underperforming that with just 7.7 points per game, but expected points per game takes into account your volume, your targets, your ADOT, your red zone targets. Based on his volume, he should be scoring more. I would just stay the course with Jake Ferguson. Now, that is going to do it for us today. Again, if you want to know exactly how much fab I'm bidding on each and every single one of these players, that'll be on the Patreon, patreon.com/Ron Stewart. But if you can't support there, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.
Stones, like this froze, ice cold, ice around my body like I'm frozen.